Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. I'm Jessica Coody, and very, very excited to be joined in studio by now senior libero Lexi Rodriguez. How does that sound, senior?
Oh, it's crazy. It just doesn't seem real at all.
I've told the story some, but it seemed like just yesterday I was talking to you and Lindsay and Allie as you guys were coming in as freshmen, but here you are. Does it feel like your last semester before you graduate?
Oh, it doesn't. And I mean, time really does fly. And just thinking about like what's about to come and how it's just going to start being like my last this, my last that. It just seems like I still have a few more years. Yeah.
Well, you had a cool event that you were just a part of, so we wanted to get you here in studio to talk about that. You were at the Walmart corporate meetings in Houston, and we saw some pictures. I saw a little bit of the video. It looked like a really cool experience. Tell us a little bit about it and how you got involved with it.
Yeah, so like Jonathan he's works with NIL, and he said that there's this opportunity, and he reached out to me, and I was like, oh yeah, that sounds really like a really big deal, but really cool. And so it was just me and Coach Cook, and they flew us down there, and it was a super quick trip. We got down there on Sunday night, and then Monday morning we went like bright and early. We went over to the convention center. We got to meet and chat with the CEO for like 15 minutes and just get a little backstory about him and how long he's been working there, kind of what his job's like. And then we kind of just waited backstage, and then they brought us on. We talked a little bit about our Memorial Stadium game and just about like leadership and taking opportunities and stuff like that. And that was pretty much it. And then we went back to the airport and came back.
You know, it was a big event for Walmart, right? Just a huge company. And for them to want to kick off their event with Volleyball Day in Nebraska, and it seems like we just keep talking about the impacts of that, but how cool was that for you to think, okay, now here we are, the season's done, but yet Walmart, this huge company, wants to launch their meetings talking about our Volleyball Day?
I know. I thought it was really cool, and just seeing that we're like 5 months afterwards, and it's still just having an impact on people. And I think it was just a really cool opportunity to get to share that story with even more people that might not be as involved in kind of like the volleyball world or the sports world, and getting to like speak at that big of a level. And I just thought it was really cool, and it was a cool opportunity.
How much fun is it to do stuff like that with Coach Cook?
Oh, it's fun. You know him. He enjoys talking. He likes chit-chatting, finding connections to Nebraska and all that. But, I mean, outside of the season, when he gets to travel and just do stuff, he has so much fun.
How much do you enjoy doing stuff like that, like speaking in front of large crowds? I mean, there were thousands of people there.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of public speaking at all. I can play in front of as many people as you want, but when you ask me to speak, it's not my favorite thing to do. But I think it's just preparing me for the future. I don't know what I'm going to do, but having experiences like that will definitely help me.
Absolutely. If someone would have told 6, 8, 10-year-old Lexi that you were going to have an NIL deal with Walmart, what would you have said back then?
I wouldn't have believed them for sure, and definitely would have been like, I think they got the wrong person. And I feel like I've done like a lot of things that I've just like never thought I would be able to, but just doing something for such a big company, it kind of like hit me like, wow, like this is pretty crazy.
You talked about getting to spend some time with the president, John Furner. How was that? How was that conversation? Just someone that's in charge of such a large company, getting to pick his brain and hear his story.
Yeah, it was really cool just seeing like how much he's in charge of and what his day-to-day life is. And like even Coach and him were talking back and forth about just like being in charge and having so much responsibility, and just hearing like a different perspective outside of volleyball or sports or school, whatever it is. I thought it was really cool. And then, you know, he was like, if you ever want to work in Walmart, like give anyone a call. And so like that was pretty cool too, just to like make those connections.
Yeah, he said in his opening that you were graduating, and if you're looking for a job, if you call everybody answer the phone call. They hire you. They're already recruiting you. That was not the only person you got to meet. You got to meet Megan Maroney, a country music star. How was that, getting to visit with her?
So cool, because we were in our little like backstage area, and you could like hear her rehearsing, like practicing, and I was like, Coach, did you hear that? Like she's practicing like literally like 2 tenths down or whatever. And he was just like, no, like I didn't hear her. Like I'm gonna go see if we can meet her. And I went to the bathroom and I came back and he's like, okay, you ready? We're gonna meet her. I was like, oh, okay. And then she was super nice, and he was like picking her brain about if she knew like Scotty McCreery, and she's like, yeah, I went on tour with him. And then just talking about how she manages her nerves and everything like that. And it was super cool, and I love her music, so I was fangirling.
Oh, so you were a fan going into before you met her?
Oh, yeah, I love her music.
That's awesome. Was he getting some tips from her on how to like produce and record records?
No. I'm surprised he did it, but no, he didn't.
He was pretty proud of that. Going back to the Zach Bryan thing that he reproduced, right, for you guys?
Oh, yeah. He played it every single day when we had a game. So every like game we had, he always played this song, and he just took out like the middle part when Zach Bryan would kind of talk, and he filled it in with just talking about every single one of his players and just where they're from and kind of motivating them a little bit. But it was super cool.
You know, just to have an opportunity like this for a women's athlete, we're just seeing the NIL thing really explode and provide huge opportunities for female student athletes across all sports. What does that mean to you that these opportunities are being provided for athletes like you and other women across all sports?
I think it's awesome, and I think that's, now that I'm like going into my senior year, something I'm trying to be a part of my brand a little bit, is just getting those opportunities for women, volleyball players, and just trying to motivate younger girls to want to do the same thing when they get older. But I think it's so huge, and I just feel like the opportunities are still growing and getting bigger for women athletes and just women's sports all over the country. So I think it's phenomenal.
It's a good part to be, or a good time to be a part of women's sports. Right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You had mentioned Jonathan Bateman, and he moved into this role about a year ago, or started to transition into this. But how much does he help you guys navigate the NIL stuff here at Nebraska?
Oh, yeah, he's awesome, because before as in compliance, like they helped and they would have stuff for us, but to have someone that you can actually go to, and that's his job, I think it's really helpful. And he reaches out with opportunities, or just if we have questions or need help with anything to navigate it. And it's really helpful to have him as a resource.
Very cool. Well, we had talked about it. This is your last spring semester. How are you approaching it? Have you thought about that? What are kind of, what's your mindset, I guess, going into this spring semester?
Yeah, I think we had a meeting like a week and a half ago when we all got back onto campus, and I mean, we kind of reflected on last season, just looking at everything we accomplished and trying to take that into this year. And obviously, coaches talked to me just about how I've accomplished a lot, and the only thing left to check is a national championship. And so I think with having pretty much all of our starters returning and getting these new freshmen, I just think making it a theme of how we're going to get back to that national championship and what little steps we're going to take to finally get crowned national champions.
One of the things that was so cool about this team, just the camaraderie, how close you guys were, the chemistry, and that all started this time a year ago. What was it that worked? What were some of the things that you guys did that maybe you're trying to do this starting now in January to make sure this team comes together like that?
Yeah, I think the staff last year did a really good job, just especially because we had so many new people, of really encouraging like leadership meetings and like team environment meetings, and just getting us in positions where we were getting to know each other and building that chemistry like really early on. And we were always together and always encouraged to go on coffee dates or like take time to get to know one another. And I feel like from the start that really helped us just build that chemistry. And so I think with we have pretty much the same core group, and now we have 2 freshmen that we have to incorporate into that. But I think it's going to be huge how we can also incorporate our 2 transfers, considering that they're not here. I think it's going to be huge, and I think we're going to work on like Zooming with them and just like getting in contact with them, making sure that they're still staying included in this team.
You excited about a beach season?
Oh, yeah.
You like beach, right?
I love beach. Yeah, I get to hit. I never get to do that. It's super fun, and it's good training, so I think we all love it.
Do you know your partner yet?
They haven't decided, but I've been practicing with Andy, so I think me and Andy will be a good duo this year.
That's a great duo, you and
yeah.
Andy.
Oh, yeah.
Have you had different partners every beach season?
Some people switch, but for the past 2 years, so my only 2 beach seasons, I've been with Becca.
Is that a process too, learning how to play beach with a teammate? Or,
oh, yeah. Yeah, because when you're playing indoor, you rely on just the team, the bench, the coaches, everyone, and beach is very much, it's you and one other person, so you kind of got to really get to know what your partner needs, how they thrive, what they struggle with, and it's a lot difficult to kind of manage the up and downs when it's just you and another person. But it is a lot of fun just to be able to go out there and compete, and you have more responsibilities, and I think that's fun.
You guys go to some cool places. You get to go to Hawaii every year. How good of a workout is it?
Oh, it's insane. It's really hard. The cardio, the jumping, the running, everything, especially our sand court is like a lot thicker than anywhere else we play. We go to Hawaii, it's like the sand is like this thick, like it's like walking on like outside. But our sand is so thick, so practicing in there pretty much for the whole month of February, it really gets us into shape.
Well, we're looking forward to it. You know, just kind of wanted to ask you, I know it was tough after the national championship, but you think about all the things that this team accomplished last season. Now that you've had some time, how do you reflect on last year and what you guys were able to do together as a team?
Yeah, I think just looking back, and we talked about it in our meeting, it's really hard to accomplish some of the things we accomplished. Coach always says he thinks winning a Big Ten's harder than winning a national championship, and that was a huge accomplishment. We only lost 1 game in the regular season, which is also really hard to do. And then you look at the Memorial Stadium match, that's obviously a world record, and no one else has done that. And so just looking at from start to finish, everything we did, I think that's part of the reason why that group was so special and why we were breaking records and had a fan base wherever we went.
You know, I know that you guys really appreciate the fan base here at Nebraska, but I was doing some research for the National Girls and Women in Sports Day event coming up, and just the attendance records that you guys broke across the country, and then, you know, it was the most attended, most watched volleyball season across the entire sport. How cool is that for you to see that perspective, not just here at Nebraska? Nebraska's been solid in that, but just to see it kind of catch fire and really across the nation, the interest that took part that was going into volleyball, college volleyball this season?
I thought it was amazing because it really was everywhere. There were records being broken in every single conference for attendances, and just you saw it literally everywhere. It was spreading into every state, every conference. It really was. And then I think it's huge because now that there's professional volleyball leagues starting, I just think that what's a better time than now for this sport to get all this attention? And I think it's going to be huge as these leagues are starting to grow and get more people from different colleges in the next few years.
Great stuff, as always. Lexi Rodriguez, appreciate your time.
Thank you.